could you explain in very simple terms for the people and the the whole process of this, explaining what it is, the ownership of your corporate name, how you go about that, where the documents go.
Right, I'll put it in simplistic terms, as simple as I can put it. But it's not literally this simple, but it's not far off it. Okay, and just to put it in layman's terms, without all the junk. When you're born, the government gets your mum to sign a birth certificate, and what that does is it establishes the corporate entity, which is yourself. The government then creates a trust account under that name, and they put money in that account, and that account just sits there at accrues interest during your lifetime. When you die, because you don't know it's there, it goes back to consolidated revenue. Okay? But the cock-up is that because the account's created in your name and you're the beneficiary of the trust account, you have lawful right of access. But because your corporate person can't access it because a corporation can't do anything, because you've got to remember, even BHP cannot do jack shit. That's the people that work in BHP that do it, right? So what you do is you then create an agreement between yourself and your corporate being. Your corporate being gives the power of attorney and right of agency over the corporate to the human. The human can then register, you register that agreement and a truth affidavit. Now, a truth affidavit, all you do is you say that I, the corporate, have given authority to the person, the human, to exercise right of agency and power of attorney over my affairs. And then you have another truth affidavit that says I, the human, accept the agency over and power of attorney over my corporate's affairs. Those documents and a couple of other little ones get sent to America. They get filed with the Superior Court in America under the UCC rules, and you then have power of attorney with a registered commercial agreement over your corporate person. You then, as the agent for the corporate person with power of attorney over his goods, chattels and assets, receive a bill in his name, right, in the capital letters. So you put the information on that, you send it back to the bank or wherever, and tell them, go to the Department of Finance and get the trustee of the account, Dr. Ken Henry, to write a cheque and pay that, please, out of my trust account. Simple.
Telephone bill.
My brother's just sent the paperwork off to pay $190,000 off his mortgage. Right?
Mortgages, any debt. But you can't put the money in your pocket.
No, not at the moment. But we've now got. There's a lady in South Australia, Victoria, who's figured out how to attach a chequebook to the account and a credit card.
Can the credit card continue, or is it wiped off after you paid it?
Well, when you pay it, the account still stands, so the card's still valid until it expires.
So how much? Oh, sorry, I was going to say, how much would the average person have in their account?
My understanding, I don't know exactly, but my understanding is that when I was born, I had somewhere around the £300,000 to £400,000 deposited in the account.
And how much is that now?
8.5% per annum, wasn't it?
I don't know, but there were some pretty ugly times during the 80s that we were all fretting about that done us good. I don't know the exact figure, but I was told in the high tens of millions in my account at the moment.
What, so everybody or just you?
Oh, everybody.
We've got a secret account somewhere.
Because when you die, you've got a will. If you've got a will, only the things that are mentioned in that will. You leave your car to him, your house to Fred, your bathtub to this lady, and your chooks to that lady, and da-da-da. But you don't leave your money to anyone. So it goes back to consolidated revenue, doesn't it?
Why did they start in the first place?
Because back in the old days when we used to have valuable coins like gold and silver, if you have a look at a really old American $1 bill, you'll see where it comes from. It says redeemable for gold.
Yeah.
Right? When they took the gold off the people, they had to replace something. And what they had to replace, people had the capacity back then to get themselves out of default, financial default. So when they took the gold off the people, they had to put in place a mechanism whereby they could eliminate the default.
They would be debt free.
They didn't have to tell you what it was.
No.
They just had to make sure it was there.
Yeah.
And your set-off account is the means whereby you can set off your default.
Right.
But they won't tell you that.
So they did it through the birth certificate. So by registering each person's birth was their thing saying that these people.
Well, that's how they've eventually set it up. Yeah.
So we can access this money to pay off.
If we know how.
If you know how.
If you know how,
It's a bit of
Do you know
a
of
little
anyone
bit.
that has achieved it?
yeah. That's it's not like an airy fairy
We just
thing. It's already
recently
been
done paperwork for my brother,
Use
and the day before yesterday he sent the letter to the bank to asking them for what's called a real bill. As soon as he gets that back, he puts on the bottom of that I, Anthony McMurtrie, the agent for Anthony McMurtrie, because Anthony with a capital A, small NTH, right? As the agent,
What?
give
Little A.
give authority to the trustee of this account to pay you this much money.
What happens if you become like sovereign, or you
So
declare
what?
sovereignty? Does that make a
Well,
difference?
you're still the same person. You're still a sovereign person. The corporate entity stays there. You own it.
What about if you never, what about if you have a child and you don't register them, what happens?
Well, there's no account.
You don't have birth certificate. You don't
But
have
how do they pursue that sort of?
How does it?
Sovereign, like the sovereignness of not having to register, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but if you don't have a birth certificate, there's obviously no account created next to the birth certificate.
Just
You
don't have
can't,
the money.
you can't enrol that
So
child.
it's easier.
You
Easier.
can't enrol that child in school. You can't take that child
Right.
for medical services. You know, I did it with my child.
And then you pay a lot of money to get one later on.
They
No,
penalise.
it's the same.
No, you just have to register the child.
Yeah.
They
You
penalise.
just can't move if you don't.
Well, to a degree.
Yeah, well.
To a degree.
Yeah.
You know. See, see,
That's like.
it's a balancing act. Every time they take something off you over here, they have to replace it here, right? When they take a right off you over here, they have to put something over here to counterbalance it, right? They really do. But they tell us about. They don't ever tell us about these ones, you know. But they'll never tell us about these ones.
Which kind of makes sense, as you said the other week, about the fact that this is why the state doesn't mind topping people.
No. I'll tell you, why do you think at this point in time we've got so many old people in our community that are getting to the point where they're going to kick the bucket only for the sake of a little bit of healthcare? And why doesn't the government want to pump millions of dollars or billions of dollars into healthcare? You know, let's say over the next 5 years we lose 500,000 old people. Fuck me, they're going to have some cash in their accounts, aren't they? Where's that go? Straight back into consolidated revenue.
So, would that be on the books of the government somewhere? If we wanted to have a look, someone would have a look at the government books, it'd have to be there somewhere.
It has to be on the record, but the problem is they would suggest to you that those documents are privileged.
Suggested.
Yeah.
In other words, bluff.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I said to one government official that tried to say that certain documents were privileged and I couldn't see them, I said, who owns the documents? He said, well, the Commonwealth owns the documents. I said, have you ever read the Constitution, mate? He said, yeah. I said, well, do me a favour. Read the Constitution, read the preamble to the Constitution in the next half hour and I'll be able to pick the documents up. I am the Commonwealth. Give me my fucking paperwork.
Right. So, getting back to
Every copy in the Pacific Islands, Australasian colonies was destroyed. And when I sat down with a chap named Arthur Sinner-Dennis, and I said, Arthur, have you seen this? And I put these proclamations and a couple other documents in front of him. Now, Arthur Sinner-Dennis, to give you an idea who he is, he was John Howard's Chief of Staff from 1996 until the 16th of December 2006. And that's when he left, and that's why you'll see, if you noticed, as of December 2006 until the election last year, John Howard went, because he was the brains behind the throne. Right? He is now the Chief Finance Officer for Goldman Sachs. Right? And I asked him about the set-off account. I said, do you know about this set-OK account? And this was at a place called Bar Luca at 72 Phillip Street in Sydney, which is next door to Howard's office. We went and sat down and had a coffee, and I said, do you know about this? And he said, mate, you're not fucking supposed to know about this stuff. I said, hang on, you've got honours degrees in economics and stuff. Do you know about this? He said, I fucking know about it, but you're not supposed to. So they know, mate. They know what's happening. And this is